I want to talk about the two types of shin splints. So let's zoom in even more. So we have a right leg here. This is your anterior tibialis. So tibialis, anterior, depending on how you want to call it. I think it's the difference between being in Europe and the States, maybe, like the metric thing. But you can see this runs along your tibia, which is your shin. So if you have soreness along this outside of the shin, we're thinking more of a anterior tibialis issue. And this is a type of shin splint. So when we think about that outside shin pain, this is typically due to irritation from too much pulling. So heel striking is the big culprit here. Let me jump over to the whiteboard. I want to show you guys why. I'm going to try not to touch anything this time around. So this is why if you have lateral shin pain, or your kids have lateral shin pain, in here in Buffalo, because a lot of the running is done indoors, believe it or not, because of the timing of cross country and track, tends to mostly track lines up with winter. The kids do a lot of running on those terrible hard floors, those marble floors in the hallways, and they get crushed. But here's what happens when someone comes down with a heel strike and the ground pushes up on the heel, because actually it's more like this. You have a little extension from your heel. The ground's going to push up right at this spot of the back of your heel, and it's going to cause your foot to slap down. So heel, slap, slap. A lot of slappy runners. That whole slapping motion is controlled by that front of the shin. So when they're on hard marble floors and they continue to get that slap, what ends up happening is like the muscle attached to the bone, and it's just tugging every time they take a strike. And you imagine 80 times a minute that you're just pulling on the bone. They'll get a lot of irritation where that muscle attaches to the bone. So I'll show you that here on this here. So what will end up happening, get this out of my way, is right along this interface between the muscle and the bone, they'll actually get inflammation or osseous inflammation where the muscle is attached to the bone. So if we think about that as far as shin splints go, if you're having that outside shin pain, we're thinking more of a run form issue. There's definitely always a need for strength. Typically this outside pain is more in young kids. And then we see what's called medial, medial tibial stress syndrome. So let's zoom in. We have our tibia still highlighted here, and then we have some muscles on the inside. Really I want to focus on, not that one. Let's see if I can grab it from the back side here. Right there. I'm going to dissect some things out for you. This is a cool program, isn't it? I use this on my telehealth visits now, and people seem to like it. So if we dissect some of these muscles out, we're going to find this. Let's get rid of that one. I don't need you, plantaris. Right, posterior tib. So, and you can see also the flexor digitorum longus. Both of these muscles wrap underneath. I'll show you here. They wrap underneath the foot and ankle, and they go into the foot. So we think about when people have shin pain and it's on the back edge. Typically, it'd be right on back and through here, right on this back lower edge. This is concerning because what typically can happen here is you can get a shin splint that develops into a stress reaction, which then develops into a stress fracture. So we want to make sure we catch these early. About 50% of all stress fractures happen in the distal, the bottom third of the tibia due to this. So when we look at the part through here, same thing is going to be happening, but because we know that the posterior tib actually works quite well with the upstairs neighbors and the glutes. So we have, you look at these small muscles on the back of the thigh, right, or the back of the shin, particularly the flexor digitorum longus and posterior tib. You look at the size of those and look at the size of your glutes. This is just one of 3 glute muscles up top. Here's one, here's another one. Very much a difference in size and girth. I mean, very, very small when we look at these 2 muscles versus the ones up top. So when we're thinking, we're getting irritation along that inside part of the shin, it's typically due to poor control through the glutes. So if you're dealing with shin splints on the inside part of the foot, you might want to consider some supportive shoes or definitely glute strength. I mean, like glute and core strength, that controls that shin and that tibia from whipping around and causing extra stress. But you might need to fill the gap in lack of strength with a little bit of more supportive shoe or an insert while you build your strength up. But there's 2 types of main shin splints. Hopefully that helps you understand. One's a run form issue, one is a strength issue typically, or a footwear issue.